Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. In case you're new here, my name is Maren.
And I'm Maureen.
Right, so before we start this episode, guys, I just want to ask on a lighter note, right? Who will you be voting for between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, being that the voting season month has really drawn close?
Yeah, because we've seen online very convincing arguments of people who want to vote for Trump, and likewise also convincing arguments of people who are voting for Kamala why they are doing it.
Right, so in today's episode, we are going to be reacting on a video of a mom who describes her experience and how she was affected by Kamala Harris's policies that
And this, she says, it gave her a very difficult time because she had a sick daughter, and now she attributes all of her difficulties to Kamala's policies. And this is one of the very many reasons why we usually say politicians, they play a dirty game, and sometimes, heck, all the time, they usually don't serve you, but they serve their own political agendas.
Right, so let's watch this video and then we come back and talk about it. Consider subscribing if it's your first time here. Let us know what you think about this video.
I intend to fight for Black Lives Matters. I intend to fight.
If Black Lives matter to her, why didn't I matter?
I don't agree what Kamala Harris did to my mom. And I don't agree with what she's done to other parents as well.
My message to all Americans, especially Black Americans, do not trust Kamala Harris.
I'm so proud of you right now because you walked all the way down here and I wasn't expecting you to walk.
My daughter, Shayla, suffers from sickle cell anemia, a chronic, painful genetic disease.
As a prosecutor and law enforcement, I have a huge stick.
It's a very sharp stabbing pain, and it hurts a whole lot. Like from my chest all the way down, it hurts, including my side.
So I decided I was going to start prosecuting parents for truancy.
When Kamala Harris was the California Attorney General, she had me arrested and prosecuted because my handicapped daughter was sick in the hospital and had missed some days of school.
I spent a majority of my time here at the hospital.
Kamala's horrible policies hurt mothers like me and the Black community. My name is Sheree Peoples, and this is my story. I am a single mother. I've worked as a certified nursing assistant and a caregiver. My daughter Shayla was born in 2002. When she was born, she was diagnosed with sickle cell anemia. It affects all major organs in the body and also causes extreme pain. Her whole life, she has been on medications like morphine and Dilaudid to help her control the pain. In addition, she had to undergo blood transfusions every 3 weeks. My lifestyle became taking care of her almost full time. It is pretty typical for kids with Shayla disability to miss a lot of school.
I just got out of school. I've done 3 full days this week. Oh, I'm so tired.
And for years, the teachers were aware of her condition and her absences were all excused. California schools get their state and federal funding based off of average daily attendance. Schools are paid about $30 per student per day.
In San Francisco, we threatened the parents of truants with prosecution.
I first heard of Kamala Harris when she got elected California Attorney General.
We are putting parents on notice. We are going to make sure that you face the full force and consequences of the law.
She wrote a report saying truancy was costing California schools $1.4 billion a year in funding.
Because of truancy, California public schools lose $1.4 billion a year in funding. I want money.
Kamala then wrote a law making it criminal for parents if their kids miss school time. Kamala even wrote a book called Smart on Crime.
You can read an excerpt from the book that she just plugged shamelessly. It's called Smart on Crime.
Talking about arresting parents for truancy.
I sent a letter on my letterhead out to every parent in the public school system.
In 2012, like all California parents, I received a threatening letter from Kamala Harris saying we'll go to jail for a year if our kids even miss 10% of school days. It was like a crazy intimidation tactic.
I'm going to start prosecuting parents for truancy.
I thought, wow, this woman doesn't have any empathy. Is it because she's not a mother? I also thought, how could she not understand it would disproportionately affect people of color, single black mothers? But honestly, I didn't imagine it could affect me. Her teachers had her medical records from the Children's Hospital. I even had a 504 plan, which was an agreement between the school district and the parents to provide care for students with disabilities. It was April 18th, 2013, in the morning. I'm in my pajamas. I had just fed my daughter, gave her her medications, sent her off to school. Little did I know, there was a warrant out for my arrest. All of a sudden, the police is outside my house and they started banging on the door. I opened up my door and 2 officers entered my home. They told me I was under arrest for my child missing school. They said I was going to jail. I was shocked. I said, but my baby is sick. The school knows that. And they said, go talk to Kamala Harris. Place your hands behind your back.
My mom did nothing wrong. We did everything we were supposed to. I was always bringing doctor's notes, always calling the school to let them know that I was in the hospital.
Then they handcuff me. So they take me outside for what you call a perp walk. And oh my God, the TV news was there. The newspapers were there. You could swear I had killed somebody. It was degrading and humiliating. I was taken to the Criminal Justice Center. They took my mugshot. I was fingerprinted like a criminal, and I was terrified.
And it felt like I caused her so much pain, because in reality, it is because of me, even though I know it's not directly my fault. Sorry.
The next day, the Orange County Register showed the pictures of my arrest. They even had a close-up picture of my hands in handcuffs to show here's a black mother being arrested.
It was a truancy rate at over 2.5 times that of white students.
Everyone knew most truant kids were black. I think Kamala Harris wanted me as an example to threaten other single black mothers, like, this can happen to you if you don't get your kids in class. The police even put out a press release naming me and other black single mothers like Toya Daniels, who got arrested the same day. But my hell was just beginning. They gave me 2 charges: failure to supervise and encourage school attendance, and contributing to the delinquency of a minor. I couldn't believe it. They framed my daughter as a gang member and basically charged me with neglect. I spent the next 2 years in court fighting these charges. Kamala assigned her nastiest prosecutors to my case.
My homicide prosecutors, my gang prosecutors. And they went over there and I said, when you go over there, look really mean.
Like 10 different prosecutors. They kept pressuring me to plead guilty and spend a year in jail. But I kept refusing because I did nothing wrong. All the time I had to spend going to court, I was struggling to care for my Shayla. I lost my job and couldn't pay rent, and we got evicted. I became homeless. We had to move into a motel.
And I ended up being in the hospital a lot during her trial. And in that hospital stay was when I had my stroke.
I had a stroke about 4 or 5 days ago, and right now I'm doing pretty good. My hand is doing okay, I guess.
In 2015, after 2 years, they finally just gave up and dismissed my case. In 2018, the Supreme Court of California ruled that truancy cannot be punished by incarceration. It was unconstitutional. The courts finally stopped Kamala Harris' abuses. When I look back, I ask, why did Kamala Harris arrest me? Why was Kamala Harris so insensitive to a Black woman with a handicapped child? Well, first, I learned that Kamala Harris has no common experience with Black people. She grew up with an Indian mother. I remember she kept saying she was Indian.
To become the first Indian senator in U.S. history, which would be quite an accomplishment.
Not good. What we're going to cook today is an Indian recipe.
Yes.
Because you are Indian.
Yes.
And I learned she grew up in Canada, not in the United States, and went to a wealthy high school. I think in Canada, she must not have been exposed to American values, which respects the rights of individuals. When Kamala Harris ran for president in 2019, they asked her about arresting people like me, and she just lied her ass off.
The truancy program got a lot of criticism too. Did you actually lock anybody up?
No, we never locked anybody up. We never sent a parent to jail.
And no parent went to jail.
And we did prosecute some cases, but far few, only about 20.
It's ironic because Kamala helped raise money to bail out murderers, rioters, and thieves. But she thought I belonged in jail because I had a handicapped child. To me, Kamala is fake. She just repeats stupid things like unburdened.
What can be unburdened by what has been? What can be unburdened by what has been?
I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been. You know?
I found out she only became Attorney General because she was a mistress to the married San Francisco Mayor, Willie Brown.
So guys, welcome back. Let us know what you think about that episode on our comment section. One thing I have to say, guys, is that politics is a dirty game, as we earlier said, and it's just beyond me to understand how these politicians play with people's lives. They play politics with people's lives.
Yeah, because I feel like when Kamala Harris was coming up with this policy, she was using it as a stepping stone towards her career. But if you actually look at how it affected an actual family, because these people, they even lost their house. The daughter even got worse because her mom wasn't there to fully care for her.
And then can you imagine, guys, for a mom it's already a burden if you can't be able to help your child in terms of pain when they are going through something and there's nothing much you can do for them, you know. And you see the condition, as they say, sickle cell, every part of your body hurts. So already this woman was going through some kind of suffering for her not to be able to help her daughter fully, you know. And then Kamala Harris comes with these policies. This woman has to be held to jail, and so who's left taking care of her daughter?
And also the public humiliation this woman
she went through. And then, guys, remember the kind of crime. Let's just say if this was a crime, which is not, but let's just say if it was a crime, she already organized for the news, the media to be there when this woman was being arrested. So you tell me if this was not a perfect politicized plan for Kamala Harris to somehow elevate and maybe make herself look good or make herself seem like she was actually working, you know, and she ended up affecting these families' lives.
Right, and you know, right now it's through people like this woman, Sherry Peoples, you know. Kamala Harris, when she started off on her campaign trail, you know, she said she was for the Black people. She even tried to to camouflage as a Black person, you know, until exposés started coming up of how she didn't have a drop of Blackness in her, but she was a person of color. And then, you know, it will be very, very difficult for her to convince people she cares for them, while all of her career, she's built her career by putting down black people.
And then when you look at the graphs they were giving us, in the graph, it clearly showed that Black women were affected with her policies more. So because in the graphs were showing that a lot of kids from black communities were not going to school, the truancy thing. So she wanted to play into that narrative by arresting a lot of black women so that it could look like everything can match the sources of the information, which is quite sad. Another thing I'm wondering is that the office of the prosecutor, I do believe they have resources. So for Kamala, when she was still a prosecutor, right, why didn't they run a background check, which I do believe is something they could have, for them to get, because this woman had notes from the hospital, her child was known, and she had a note from the school district. They knew her child was sick, so her child missing school, they already knew the kind of problems they were experiencing.
Yeah, and she also said that the school could not come out to defend them because the school relies on funding from, and if they could have come up to defend them, maybe they'd have lost their funding. And right now my biggest question is this woman, after passing through what she passed through, was she ever compensated? Was she ever compensated? Because her kid missing school, it was nobody's fault. It was completely out of their hands when she was missing school.
Guys, one thing I just want to leave you with is that before you make any decisions, be careful also how celebrities are used to influence you. People like Kamala Harris's radio team. Be careful how celebrities are used to influence your decisions, because she has a battalion of black men running PR for her, for the black community, yet she doesn't have any kind of empathy towards the community, that type of community.
At least that is what people are saying online.
Yeah, so guys, let us know what you think about this episode. We'll be very happy to hear from you. Also consider subscribing if it's your first time here.
Yeah, so guys, let's just read you a few comments of how people are feeling about this video.
So the user Timothy Wren, he says this woman needs to sue Kamala Harris for millions. I do feel like she has a case there, because if they tried prosecuting the woman, even her toughest,
she wasn't guilty of anything.
And I'm glad she didn't accept the guilty plea, because that way, by her own words, they could have caught her. Another one is saying, why is this poor woman's story not on mainstream media? That's a good question.
Right now, I feel like the woman she's accusing is on the government, and of course the government won't play a video that will be against itself. She's the government right now.
Right. Another one is saying, I'm so glad this lady stood her ground. Wow, just wow. Where is Oprah with this story? Where are the ladies on The View now?
They're all just quiet. And then when she was arrested, just as this person said, if she could have accepted that 1-year plea, she would have been a string of people who would have gone down with her, because I think Kamala's team knew her real situation, and that's why they dropped the case in 2015. But if she would have accepted, that would have been the end of her and many other black people.
Oh, this is just heartless, guys. Anyway, let's leave it there. Let us know what you think about this episode in the comment section.
Yeah,
this just dismantled my
it's energy draining to think that other people can go sleep in their white sheets very, very well, knowing full well they've made another person lose their homes. They've made another person's child become paralyzed because of a condition that could have been taken care of, should some circumstances have been avoided. So just let us know what you think about this episode. And as they usually say, every politician is a politician. I think that's just my parting shot. And
this is what we normally talk about, the 1%, right? The rich don't care about what happens to the poor, what affects you,
because right now we're just seeing what Kamala has done to one single person. Other cases have not come up here, and it's not Kamala
and it's
alone.
not to say Donald Trump is innocent,
because I'm sure even Donald Trump has a few
beginning with his felony charges,
and then someone here was asking, why is Donald Trump's team not having a field day with this clip? Why are they not using it? Because man,
Kamala must have something
that she also would love to use but isn't using, because at the end of the day they're the 1% ruling over the majority. And they must protect themselves before, as different political parties, they begin to take care of you guys. They must protect themselves first. So guys, let us know what you think about this episode, and also consider subscribing if you're new to this channel, and we'll see you on our next episode.